Sit. Sit. High five. High five. All right. Hi, friends. My name is Bill Evertsberg, and I'm one of the ministers at Kenilworth Union Church. And this is Doogie, my assistant minister. I have a couple of great guests today. David Crossgrove is the church treasurer at Kenilworth Union, and his assistant treasurer is a German short-haired pointer named George. It was George's 7th birthday yesterday, October 5, so wish George a happy birthday. Doogie will turn 1 on November 10, so he's still a squirrely puppy, so we're going to keep them apart, I hope. So David, as a church treasurer, you kind of had a bird's eye view of the church's finances. In a thumbnail sketch, can you give us a treasurer's picture of where all the church's money go? Where do we spend the money on?
So there's sort of two things to think about. There's two operating budgets at the church. There's the operating budget for a Joyful Noise preschool, which I think everyone understands. They get their money from the tuition for the kids.
Right.
And then there's the church's operating budget, which over 80% of that operating budget comes from the stewardship campaign that started about a little over a week ago. So from the church's budget, about 65% of that goes toward the compensation for the staff, for the ministers, for the administrative staff, all the wonderful things that happen in front and behind the scenes of the church to make it run every day. If you add to that the building costs, the insurance, utilities, you get to well over 80% of the budget. We've got then about 3 or 5% for other program costs, for the music program, for the youth program. And then that leaves a portion of the annual budget, which the church has generously given toward the outreach mission, which supports the 40 or so organizations that have been part of the outreach mission for many years.
Great, thanks for that little thumbnail sketch. What impact has the pandemic had on the church's finances?
It's had a significant impact. We were very grateful to get through our fiscal year. We're a June 30 fiscal year with a surplus, which gave us a little confidence to go into the next fiscal year with a similar stewardship level. But we weren't able to increase the stewardship level, yet balancing increasing costs, for the church, whether it's desires for compensation costs or other parts of the church. And so we budget and operate conservatively. We're coming into the fiscal 21 with a balanced budget, but with the same stewardship levels as we've had in prior years. But that's forced us to cut back in some areas, or at least delay some investments, both in the levels of compensation that we'd like to provide to the staff, as well as investing in some of the programs, the music and youth programs, like we'd like to have, but hope to in the future.
Great. Maybe you should tell the congregation what qualifies you to be the church treasurer. What do you do in your day job?
So I'm an accountant by trade. I spent most of my career in public accounting, most of that in Big Four public accounting. And I'm currently the global controller of a large privately held company in the city.
Great. We're very fortunate to have your skills and experiences.
Thank you.
So you have said that Kenilworth Union's capital reserve resources are a little bit low for a church our size. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So there's not a target level for what that capital reserve should be, but there is target giving that's in our bylaws and policies. And to be quite honest, we have not given at that level from the operating budget to the capital reserve in the past several years, or at least that I've been a part of the business committee. Now, we've done that with open eyes, in part because of the plans for a capital campaign, which was making wonderful progress right up until the point of the pandemic crisis. So, of course, we put that on pause. And we hope to, get that revived sometime soon. We have a trustee meeting in October, and I'm sure that that'll be a topic of conversation at the trustee meeting.
So, Sunday before last, at the annual meeting, you described yourself as a cheerful church treasurer, which pleased me because it meant you were listening to my sermon.
That's right.
Where I quoted Paul's letter to the church at Corinth, where he says, God loves a cheerful giver. So what makes you a cheerful church treasurer right now, David?
Well, thank you for that lead-in with with my annual report a week or so ago. I am optimistic. Despite all that we're going through as a church and a community and a country, we finished the fiscal year with a surplus, and that gave us some confidence to go into the fiscal 21, as I said, with the similar stewardship levels. We weren't able to make some of the investments that we'd like to make, but we've had some very good early feedback from the pledge campaign, and as I said, very good feedback from the capital campaign before we had to put that on pause. And so, and the church just, has a very strong tradition of family giving, and they seem to come through when we need it the most. So that makes me very optimistic for the year.
Great. That's a great sort of summing up of our financial picture in 5 minutes, David. Well done. If people want to know more about this, tell them how to do it.
Thank you for asking. So I do encourage people to look at the annual report. If you go back and look at Ken's letter to the congregation and the members, there's a link to the annual report that has a very detailed business committee report in it that provides our financials in a lot more detail, including a financial statement. And then, of course, read the information that the Stewardship Committee provides and George Wishart provides. And I just hope that everyone not only reads but responds and gives to the church, whether it's their time and hopefully treasure as well.
No way for us to thank you for all you do for the church.
Well,
it's been my honor and privilege to serve with you. We love you and your wonderful family, and God bless you all.